So we're going to do 20 questions with the two designers of Mandatory to celebrate your 20 years in business. Are you ready for your first question?
Fire away!
How and when did you guys meet?
We met at Wellington Polytech in 1988. And I had a Dick Driver haircut. I was a country bumpkin with a curly mullet. Fiona had
Mohawk at that stage?
blue mohawk. And she was really friendly, although it didn't look so friendly.
I think we just met through friends, really. We were sort of there to study. I was studying textile design. Clare was in the fashion school.
We had a friend in common and we ended up at a major fashion show. It was a hairdressing extravaganza called To Die For in the Wellington Town Hall. It was a brilliant night and we hung out a lot and started contributing to each other's women's wear labels, and it all took off from there.
Did you always want to be menswear designers?
No. It's quite interesting. I look back on my student journal where I've written that I wanted to design for bands. That's probably the nearest thing I'd written to an ambition to do menswear, but...
But we were both in women's wear, and then at the time all our male friends, but there was just nothing out there for them. And so when they met a designer, it was just an opening to go, blah, 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 there's nothing there. And obviously that was happening for Clare as well. And then that's when we'd talk about it and we'd go,
we could do that.
Mandatory was started in 1997. Can you talk a little bit about what Wellington was like at the time and what the menswear fashion options were like at the time?
Wellington's club scene was going off. Matterhorn had opened up right next door to us, and there were huge international DJs coming through a great deal of the time. People were going out and people needed outfits that looked different to what they were in the previous week. It was an incredibly social time in Wellington. The bar scene and the late night scene was really starting to happen for young people.
Well, and for men, I think men were really coming to that moment where they were exploring what they were wearing, and it wasn't just about a shirt and a pair of pants, and different music styles had different ways of dressing, and so lots of people were very interested in presenting themselves in the way that they wanted to present themselves in the world. Because of the club culture, that became a huge deal to everyone, and so there needed to be lots of options.
And that music culture, it was the beginning of that progressing into people's workwear as well. People wanting to express a bit more about what they were interested in.
What role did technology play in the early days of the business?
We had a fax machine. Everything had to be confirmed by fax. And Fiona had one of the earliest brick cell phones.
Handed down by my mother.
It was fantastic. It forced her to have quite a large handbag.
And then I think
carting it around.
6 months later, was that when you said, Fee, there's this thing, it's called email, and I think we better get one.
So we registered an email account, but nobody else had one, so there wasn't anywhere really to use it. But we had one.
Yeah, we still had to confirm by fax because that was the trusted method at the time. Yeah.
No website.
No.
No.
When did that come?
I think Mike Busy told us we had to have a website. We have, with our circle of men that we've dressed and looked after, and their friends and friends of our employees, gathered together a huge community of younger guys with technology backgrounds who have been very focused on helping Mandatory to stay up to date.
Can you talk a little bit about what the support was like when you first started Mandatory?
Well, I think in the beginning years, there's two people that come to mind. One is my flatmate Alex, who was in IT, and he came in every week to buy something, so he kept us afloat. You've got a story like that, haven't you?
Yes, Steve Regulus, who was working with Peter Jackson, he similarly came in once a week to choose a new thing to buy. So we knew we had 2 guaranteed sales every week for the first 2 years.
You always had to have in stock what they might like.
Keep the pressure up on the new designs.
Yeah.
They knew the stock very well.
They knew the stock very well.
Saatchi's sent their front of house staff round to be measured up from us in the first weeks that we opened.
Oh, Robbie
Mangasiva. We were just sent endless work.
Yeah.
People just loved it. From the get-go, they were very interested in the colours that we were doing and the fact that we could custom fit, and
we were designers on the floor.
we were designers on the floor.
I mean, where else do you get that?